Hi there, I'm Carolyn with the Ohio Valley Museum of Discovery, and I'm going to show you what to do with your polyhedron. You should have a piece of sturdy paper in a bright color with a shape on it. My shape is a tetrahedron. You might have a cube or a dodecahedron or something else. You're going to begin, no matter what shape you have, you're going to begin by cutting out all the way around the outer lines of your polyhedron. So you've now cut out your shape from the nice heavy paper. You've cut very carefully around each of these extra little parts on the edge of many of the squares. These are the little tabs that when we fold this and attach the different squares together, those will hold them together. So your next step is folding. You have to be really, really careful with this part, and it's going to be a little bit tricky, but I think you guys can do it. On where you see all these little tabs on the edges of the squares, I want you to fold those away from the printed side. So here's the side where my lines are printed onto the paper, and here is the inside. When you fold these, you're going to lay them down on the table and crease them really, really well so that they stay folded like that, okay? See how nice and neat those are folded towards the inside, the side that's not printed. Fold every one of your tabs this way. There are a few more here. And once those are all folded in, turn it over, and it should look like you have a series of squares all connected together. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, already counted that one, 5, 6 squares. And I can take these 6 squares that are attached like this and fold them together to make a cube. That's your next step. So this square is labeled A on your printout. You're going to fold all of the squares that surround square A upward. Again, you'll need to lay it down on your table and fold really carefully using really, really good creasing, and do each one individually. But when you're done, you'll have a little box with a lid like I have. Now you can attach these sides with little bits of tape, or you can put some glue along the edge of that tab, but then you have to sit here and hold it really carefully for a few minutes while the glue dries. I'm going to put on just a little bit of tape to hold those together. As you tape them together, make sure that you're lining up the edge of the square with the folded part of the tab, and that holds everything together. The final step is to fold that lid down into the box and then tape that closed as well. And now you've taken a flat piece of paper and you've turned it into a cube. Now let's think about how this is related to bean plants. So when a bean plant flowers, there's pollen inside that flower, and the pollen gets carried from flower to flower by bees and other insects, and that is what allows a new bean plant to grow. Here is a botany textbook, and inside there are some really cool close-up photos of pollen shapes. Look at those amazing shapes. Those are some of the basic pollen shapes that we would find in nature. Now, we can't fold anything quite that complicated yet, so we're going to make do with our cube. And imagine that this cube is a gigantic piece of pollen flying around, going from one bean flower to another bean flower. And pretty soon, that will allow a new